Oh, hey, good morning. In this video, I present the final project for my Accredited Rhino Trainer certification. It's about how to make a bezel around an oddly shaped cabochon stone. Hope you enjoy it.
Hey, I'm Gary Dawson, and I'd like to share with you a technique for creating a simple bezel around an unusually shaped gemstone. In today's case, I'm going to use a gel variscite cabochon. The first thing you need to have available is a picture of your gemstone shot face down, and it's best to do this on a high contrast background. So we're going to bring it into Rhino using the picture command. And here comes our variscite. You simply notice how we have crosshairs here, and I'm going to put it into the top view screen. We just drag it in and place the second corner by clicking on that corner. The scale really isn't important at this point, and you'll see why in a minute. The next thing we will do is use a control point curve up here, the upper left, and I'm going to take off grid snap in this case to get more precise placement of my control points is I try and get as close as possible to the edge all the way around this gem, making control points anywhere between 2 and 3 millimeters and 5 and 10 millimeters apart. We can go around this pretty quickly. It's not imperative that we get it perfect at this point. We move around our gemstone, putting our control points a little closer as we get around sharper corners, and then we can move faster and place them farther away as we get onto more flat parts of the outline of the stone. And I'm going to bring this in pretty close here to put these last couple of control points in. Boom. And it's not imperative that they're perfect at this point, because as you can see now, as we highlight the curve, control points show up in Rhino 6, and we can begin manipulating these control points. We can use the arrows, the gumball handles to do that. Can use the center of the gumball, but we'll see here in a minute. Let's find another one that needs some editing. Okay, curve over here. And we can, in this case, I'm going to shift select, which selects both of these control points, and I'm going to use the window pane. Looks like I shouldn't have maybe selected both of them, because this one in particular needs a little different help. There we go. The window pane moves really freely around whatever viewport that you're in, and I find it really great for control point editing. We're in pretty good shape here the rest of the way around this gem. I'm going to call that happy. So now we select our picture. It's a good idea, we may need this again, so we're going to save it. We're going to create a layer. We're going to name it picture. Actually, we didn't create it, we just adopted one of the default layers there. We'll name it picture, and we'll put this on the picture layer and then hide that layer, and that way we can bring this back. Oops, what happened here? That should go on the picture layer and the picture layer. What just happened? There we go. Got it hidden, finally. Now, okay, the next thing we're going to do is to bring this to 0, 0. We're going to center this as best we can by using gumball center with grid snap. We're going to come in a little closer here, and we're going to get this centered. And we're going to scale it from this central part of the viewpoint. Now, I happen to know that the gel variscite is 24.07 millimeters from the very top to the very bottom of the stone along the y-axis as it sits in the top viewport. So I'm going to make myself a first reference line here. Doesn't really matter where it is. I'm going to turn on ortho, so I definitely make a straight line. Type in 24.07. And then I'm going to make some additional, first actually I need to get this centered on the y-axis, or centered at 0 on the x-axis, on the y-axis. And I'm going to make additional reference points from the end with ortho on to let me know exactly where to put the top and the bottom of this gemstone. And now I can transform, scale 2D from 0.00. I'm going to turn off ortho because I get a little more control that way, and I'm going to bring this out to exactly that point. So it just touches my reference points, my reference lines. And so now it's scaled properly. All you need is one dimension to get the rest of the gemstone scaled, or the rest of the control point curve, the closed curve in this case now, to scale the gemstone perfectly. All right, and so now we can just delete these lines because I'm pretty sure we're not going to need them again. Now we're going to offset this curve both to the inside and outside. So highlight the curve, oops, curve, offset, curve. On the outside, we're going to go 0.5 millimeters, oops, 0.5 millimeters, and that will be the thickness of my bezel. On the inside, we're going to go 1.5 millimeters, and this is going to be the open bezel I hope to create. We're going to select all those by dragging right to left. We're going to go to the front viewpoint and use a new feature in Rhino 6, Gumball Magic, to extrude those curves into a surface. Let's see, how far have I gone there? 5, I'd like to go, oops, yeah, 5 millimeters is plenty good enough. Now I'm going to select all of those and I'm going to cap them. And we can check this over here in the perspective viewport. See, now we have closed poly surfaces, 3 of them actually, stacked one within the other. I used an alias to do that, and I'm going to very briefly divert to aliases, which are available here in the little gear on a standard toolbox or a standard toolbar. The little gear brings up the Rhino options, and underneath the highlighted Rhino options, we have aliases. I will highly suggest at this point that if you haven't looked at aliases already, you do that, because you can create keystroke combinations like macros that will rapidly or greatly increase your workflow if you use commands, a group of commands commonly. All right, so to complete our bezel now, we're going to select the innermost poly surface. This is going to become a cutter that will give us our open bezel back. We're going to select the next poly surface, which is the one that was created from the original bezel curve, and we're going to move this up 1 millimeter. Exactly. Now we do a simple Boolean difference, selecting the outermost poly surface to cut from. We're going to select the other 2 to cut with, and now we can select the cutters, and I like to move them to a different layer at this point and then hide them. And here we can see our completed bezel.
If you did enjoy this video, please give it the big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more good content. Thank you very much.